The President, Bola Tinubu, and Vice President Kashim Shettima have branded the final written address of Labour Party (LP) presidential candidate Peter Obi at the Presidential Election Petition Court (PEPC) as a fiction, an expedition, and a frolic of a sort. They also dismissed as untenable Obi's call for a rerun between him and the PDP presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Obi and his party, the respondents argued, even have no local standing to present a petition challenging the second respondent, Tinubu, on the purported ground that he did not score 25% of votes cast in the FCT, having been constitutionally barred and excluded from participating in any rerun election. In the unlikely event of the court making such an order, as Section 134 3A and B of the Constitution prohibits and excludes him from so doing. Tinubu and Shettima's response was filed on Friday by their lead counsel, Chief Wole Olanipekun San. Olanipekun said that in the unlikely event of a rerun, Obi and the LP would be excluded on the strength of provision of Section 134(3)A and B of the Constitution. That part of the Constitution reads, in a default of a candidate duly elected in accordance with subsection 2 of this section, there shall be a second election in accordance with subsection 4 of this section, at which the only candidate shall be the candidate who scored the highest number of votes at any election held in accordance with the said subsection of this section, and one among the remaining candidates who has a majority of votes in the highest number of states. So, however, that where there are more than one candidate with majority of votes in the highest number of states, the candidate among them with the highest total of votes cast at the election shall be the second candidate for the election. Obi and LP had in their petition asked the court to order a rerun on the ground that Tinubu did not score 25% of votes in the Federal Capital Territory. Tinubu and Shettima, however, said in their reply to the final written address by Obi and LP that the petitioners lack local standing to present a petition challenging the second respondent, Tinubu, on the purported ground that he did not score 25% of votes cast in the FCT. They said that even if a rerun was ordered, Obi can only vote and cannot be voted for, as the duel or contest will now be between the second respondent and the person that has the majority of votes in the highest number of states, 19 states, and also came second in the plurality of votes, that is Atiku Abubakar. Olanipekun said, borrowing the language of the Supreme Court in the celebrated case of Thomas vs. Olufosoye 1986, NWL 3, page 18, 669, the second petitioner, Obi, is a meddlesome interloper as he is presenting a case where he will derive no utilitarian value. The respondents urged the court to dismiss the petition on the grounds that not only did the petitioners fail to show that Obi won the election, they failed to prove their case with relevant evidence. There was The evidence, the what states thus, the evidence presented by the petitioners themselves points to the fact that all the electioneering processes of accreditation, voting, sorting, counting, entry into the respective form EC8AS, and manual transfer to the collation centers went smoothly. None of the witnesses called by the petitioners offered any scintilla of evidence to avail the court of the total number of votes that should be due to the petitioners as a result of the non-electronic transmission of votes to the IREV, and the number of votes that have been unduly credited to the second respondent for the same reason. By the imperative of Section 135 of the Electoral Act, the mere fact that results were not transmitted through the IREV cannot operate to ground an invalidation of an election. The hard copy of the Form EC8A is the building block for any collation of results. By paragraph 93 of the regulations, electronic copy is only relevant where the hard copy of the Form EC8A is not available at the collation center, and that even in the absence of the electronic copy. Recourse should be made to either the copy given to the party agents or police officers. They said that, contrary to the petitioner's claim that no glitches occurred during the transmission of results of the election to IREV, one of the expert witnesses, PW7, admitted under cross-examination by the respondent's counsel that the Amazon Web Services AWS server has, in recent past, suffered numerous outages, including the ones of 28 February 2017 and the over 27 others as at 2021, admitting the possibility of other outages as, according to her, anything is possible. They further noted that on the close of evidence, it has become glaring that none of the reliefs prayed for by the petitioners is grantable. Besides, the respondent said the petition should be dismissed on account of clear manifestation and display of abandonment of the entire petition by Obi and the LP in their final written address. Order 22, Rule 5 of the Federal High Court Civil Procedure Rules 2019, which is applicable to the proceedings, mandates that a written address shall contain the issues arising from the evidence for determination. They said, from this simple grammatical provision of the rules, it is clear that the petitioner have not formulated any issue for determination capable of being considered or countenanced by this honorable court, and the court can also not consider their address without issues for determination being presented by them. Arising from the foregoing, this honorable court is urged, as respondents have done in their final address, to dismiss the petition, not only for the reason and submissions contained in that address, but also for the clear manifestation and display of abandonment of the entire petition. The second and third respondents faulted the authorities cited and relied on by the petitioners, noting that they are in the habit of citing cases and decisions which are against their contention, and more importantly, election cases, where the petitioners in the respective decisions lost out from trial court up to the Supreme Court. These cases include Faleke vs. INEC, Buhari vs. Obasanjo, Wada vs. Bello, Oyetola vs. INEC, Abubakar vs INEC, Oke vs Mimiku, and a host of others. Deductible from this is that the petitioners, like the petitioners in these cases, expect that their petition be dismissed by this honorable court. For example, the second and third respondents referred to the cases of Awolowo vs Shagari cited by the petitioners, a case which supports the contention of the respondents but is against every grain of the petitioners' postulations. If one is inclined to even reason with their application of that case at all, then it behoves us to draw the court attention to and indeed submit that should the petitioners insist on their strange legal construct, it marks of mischief and inconsistency for them to place emphasis on 1/4 of the votes in the FCT without reckoning 2/3 of the total valid votes in the FCT. Invariably, therefore, going by the petitioners advocated the disjunctive interpretation, the court, with all respect, will need to first determine what 2/3 of the voters cast in the FCT is, before then determining what 1/4 of the said 2/3 is. Amicably put therefore by the form ECAD for Abuja before this honorable court, the total valid votes recorded in the FCT is 460,460,071 votes. 2/3 of 460,071 is 306,714. 1/4 of 2/3 will therefore be 76,678 votes. Beg your pardon. The petitioners have deliberately refused to suggest this legal proposition, which, in any event, is the natural import of their submission, because the second respondent by Exhibit RA20 scored 90,902 votes in the FCT, thereby exceeding the 76,678 votes, which is the 1/4 of 2/3 of total valid votes cast in the FCT. This was the approach taken by the Supreme Court in Awolowo vs Shagari 1979 NSCC 87 at 125, where under Fatai Williams JSC, as it then was, in the process of determining 2/3 of the entire state of the Federation, after identifying the said 12 states, established 2/3 of the total votes cast in Kano State, before proceeding to determine 1/4 of the said 2/3. Curiously enough, in their entire presentation, at no point did the petitioners assert that they are the winners of the election. Rather, they are asking the court to discountenance the second and third respondents' defense. The petitioners have been so busy and occupied milling around the worn-out and obsolete subject of the contrived disqualification of the respondents. This is a further demonstration of the fact that their petition at the very best is an expedition, a frolic of a sort. The court is not a Father Christmas. Even a Father Christmas, with all his assumed generosity, only gives to those who stretch their hands, and despite the fact that he, Father Christmas, is masked, he feels their presence. Law is not, has never been, and will never be an appeal to sentiments and emotions, as the petitioners think or assume that sentiment is the route to persuading the courts to give judgment in their favor. Tinubu and Shetima said in further praying the court to dismiss the petition. With respect, the entire address, like the petition itself, is a fiction, they said. That's all for now on Superversion Updates. This channel is for reporting latest news happening in Nigeria. Please remember to click the like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching.